check mark. Solved. We're going into new territory for the consistent algorithmic system that's part of the video. We collect items, mage, objects, pulses, flow, applications, notes. It's like a phone. It just works. But over here is like the data and analytics in a line, color coded to read as H, L, M, and they all have its categories. But the only way to really consistently see to the new level is to go step sizes. Or step down. Never realized you could go down as well, which creates perfection. We have the pause item in the center that data collects modularly through level expansion, and it is glyph-like, so there will be lines that are smaller, bigger, in a more organismic kind of latch system, kind of like circuitry, but it's like an ampersand, so I'm going to make an ampersand glyph. A lot of ampersand glyphs, though. It's basically ancient, plural music-like value. The music is part of it. It has a glyphs of code that, like a piano. A piano isn't a computer, but it's mechanical and can perform music, so it's kind of like a machine. But I don't know if it's technically mechanical because there's also computational measures like computers that can actually do that. But we also have the H on the side that governs, and the new H system that was created somehow from unknown places, and then there's the darkness that usually is the intricate abstraction, and then there's the light specters that are critical, truly critical. But they don't really go against each other, but the story makes it so. The only way you can revise or edit the story is to go through a feedback loop story that leads you to self-defining that whole system as a step size or a whole algorithm of step sizes that create multi-level production in interpolated measure. I'll show you what it looks like. It's like this. This is the items in the orders, like what you move through your phone. This is the story arc system that feedbacks and then proves that the feedback was logical, but it's illogical at the same time, and measures different probabilities. This is the health, that's the darkness, the light. This is the ampersands and the particle effects in the center. This is the limit breakers. And the step size up actually creates a whole mage edition and N plus, and your base system can update or downgrade or side grade or diagonal grade and different position, or all at the same time, which creates a shape. When all these things happen at the same time through expansion, it is pure inflation. And that inflation can start where the particles are and diverge into what are they called zeros. They're like neos, but they're zeros in a system. And the A's float as tiny orbiters, B's, S's, D's, all those are little particles to form the original zeros, which is the whole Boolean process. But this whole system is used really coolly because you can write that whole system of glyphs in a new standard language that is like the data markers, and they could appear as fractal behavior language that doesn't really make sense too much, to a degree that it is tagged. It's tag based, and it has what do these have? Like barcodes? They have like barcodes, and you have like a traditional AKR barcode that doesn't look like standard barcode because they're permutation orders. They're longer than normal. They're way longer. They're elongated, so they have prime activity, and you just codex it as a structural order that leaves where it goes. I'm just kidding. We're not going to use that, but there's going to be much more understanding through this Boolean web, because the Boolean can be treated as tags or non-tags from the tag. You identify the tag, and then you don't want to be the tag anymore. It creates a fluid system that totally levels through. Let's say we'll draw on the map and create a multi-level network. Let's say I go through the HLM and I find out that there's some blockage on limiter of 5FB1 plus X. Going through the particle field, I find that there's no problems, and the problem originally comes from the story. And you have to flip how you view the story. Not always flip it, but kind of revive that positional and remember the path you already took and treat it as a Boolean algorithm, thus tracing the path all the way back makes retro revision. And the more we do that, the more inflation can rise categorically, and we self-indulge in the same thing over and over again. But this is a mental algorithm, not systematic. So you go through the HLM, you find the solution to the problem, and then you go through the orbiters, which are the particles, and they feel alive. They start moving expoundedly, but then you realize that the darkness is growing, the light is growing at the same time. Both are doing counteractive things when you measure it, and you don't really know what they're exactly going to do because they were based on the story. So it flips, and you move through cycles in the story, kind of like in a dream where you wake up from the dream once again, and you wake it up to a second level, a third level, fourth level, and that's just lucid dreaming. While you're awake, it's called lucid reality, and you live in lucid reality for a long time until you're able to deal with the dreaming level again. And lucid reality is actually a little bit harder because it's all deterministic in a way that's emergent and deterministic, and you have to create rules, but the rules don't have to be as you thought that they were, and it creates a system. So, yeah.